So I bet when you think of Korea, you think of Heung-min Son and Squid Games. Well, here's a part of their history you might not know, because on the 25th of June 1950, North Korean forces invaded South Korea. This marked the start of the Korean War, a brutal 3-year conflict from 1950 to 1953. Now, after the Second World War, Korea, once a Japanese colony, was split at the line of latitude known as the 38th parallel. North Korea became Soviet-backed and communist, while South Korea was supported by the West and became explicitly anti-communist. The invasion aimed to reunify the peninsula under communist rule. The United Nations, led mainly by the US and British troops, rushed to defend South Korea. Now, North Korea, supported by China and the USSR, pushed deep into the south. By September 1950, UN forces were nearly driven into the sea. Then they launched a bold counterattack at Incheon, turning the tide. UN forces advanced into the north, nearing the Chinese border. Now, in late 1950, China entered the war with hundreds of thousands of troops, pushing UN forces back again. The war became a stalemate, fought mostly around that 38th parallel. Fighting ended with an armistice in July 1953, but no peace treaty was signed, and Korea remains divided today, with a heavily militarized border known as the DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone. Now, around 3 million people died in the Korean War, including large numbers of civilians. The war cemented Cold War divisions, communism versus capitalism in Asia in particular. It marked the first major military clash of the Cold War and the first time the UN used armed force. Now, for the US and UK, it showed that post-World War II peace would not be easy and that global conflicts hadn't ended. In fact, it shaped future policies, including NATO's strengthening and more aggressive anti-communist strategies. For South Korea, it marked the start of a long journey to democracy and prosperity, while North Korea, under the Kim dynasty, remains isolated and authoritarian to this day.